Is buying a new construction house as your first home as bad as they make it seem? Well, you're probably watching this video because you have two devils right now in each one of your shoulders. One devil is saying, just go buy the new construction. You see those billboards everywhere. They're offering the houses real cheap. The interest rate that they're offering is like 3 or 4%. Why not? Just go do it. The second one is saying, oh my gosh, I've been watching too many TikToks for talking about how terrible these new houses are being built. Don't even think about touching them. You're a complete idiot if you even think about buying a new construction home. First off, let me explain who I am. My name's Javier. I've been making these YouTube videos for the past, a long time. I've been helping families here in the Phoenix, Arizona for over 10 years. I have the great fortune over the last few years to have helped a lot of people purchase new construction homes. So I've seen all the processes. I've seen the new builds from the ground up. I've seen the inventory houses, the model homes. So I can bring at least my perspective from a stinky realtor, what I've seen personally through the experiences of home buyers and the inspections and the builders and all that stuff. So I'm happy to bring that perspective to you and share with you if it's as bad as they make it seem. And of course, talk to you about some tips I have if you are going to go into this process, what to look out for, what's worked for my clients, and what to avoid. So first and foremost, why are we even talking about if it's even a good idea? Because historically, at least when I got started 10 plus years ago, buying a new home was the expensive route. Let me rephrase that. It was not the expensive route. It's the route that for people who wanted something new with warranty and were okay paying more dollars for. But over like the last 2 or 3 years, it's become the route to go if you want the better interest rate, because they started getting a massive boom during COVID, where if you wanted a new construction home, you'd have to put your name in a ball or a lottery thing. And like every week they would do a drawing to see who got the lot. I'll never forget being on a Zoom call with like 10 other people with my clients, seeing if we got our name picked for the specific lot, and then seeing, everybody on mute, people cheer if they got it, or one person at the very end of the call just went like this because they never got their name picked, and it was like their third or fourth time for a drawing, and the builder didn't like when you called it a drawing or a lottery, but I don't know what else to call you freaking putting a name into a ball and picking it out. During this time, there was a material supply shortage due to the pandemic. There was a labor shortage, so there was less construction workers willing to work, and the greed of these companies deciding to continue to build created this perfect effect where houses were not being built in a high quality. They were being built very crappy quality. And people started noticing. Articles started being published. People started realizing, like in the 2023, 2022, 2024, man, these houses are kind of crappy. They kind of suck. And like I was saying earlier, the reason why you're probably watching this is because you have seen a lot of videos on TikTok or Instagram or YouTube about home inspectors that are inspecting these houses, and they're finding all kinds of crappy stuff. The one person that we're going to be talking about today is Sci-Fi. Sci-Fi is actually in the Phoenix, Arizona area with me, and I've never met him, but I've heard of him a lot around here. Some of his most popular videos are him showing the things that he's finding in these new builders. Let me just show you an example of one now.
I'm out here at the 303 and the 60 doing a 1-year warranty inspection, and boy, I tell you, I've been at homes 2 weeks before closing that were more completed than this home. Let me show you. Whoops.
But the content I like from him are the ones where like someone from the builder team will show up and like confront him, or you'll get like, there's one in particular where the city of Mesa, I guess he was doing an 11-month inspection, which we'll talk about that in a bit, and he smelled gas. He smelled gas near the gas line, and he sprayed it, and there's bubbles. So of course, him or the homeowner called the city of Mesa to go out there, and the city of Mesa guy just had an attitude about it the whole time.
That's not what's going to cause that odor, though.
Oh, I could smell it.
Once you're sticking your face down there. I mean, I'm like, obviously it leaks the leak, I'll fix it, but that's not what,
Yeah, you'll be amazed at what I can smell.
barely, but I can guarantee you, man, I've been doing this job for a long time, and that's not what you were smelling, though.
Well, I know what gas smells like. I can guarantee you, I've been doing it a long time. So how come the gas detector doesn't see the leak?
It's so small, it's not even picking it up. That's why I'm saying I know,
and that's why you don't believe that I can smell it. I shouldn't be looking for gas leaks?
No. Unless you smell it, that's when you call the gas company. I don't even know if you touched that meter. You touched it with the wrench, you said?
No,
Is
I
that
didn't
what you
say I
said you
I
did?
don't have a wrench.
Oh, so
Do you
now
see a
you're
wrench?
not saying that.
No, I said I
Yeah.
inspected it.
So no.
It wasn't gas you were smelling. Like, I guess he was insinuating that you're smelling his own fart or something. But either way, like, he obviously smells gas and he can tell there's gas, but the guy's annoyed that he got called out to fix such a small repair. It doesn't matter if there's barely a leak. I think if there's any gas coming out from any kind of pipe, I believe it should be fixed, shouldn't it? So inspector is doing his job by finding out what needs to be repaired, and the city's getting annoyed that they have to send somebody out there to do that. And this appears to be like the common thing I'm hearing from like builders and other like even realtors even. So I'm a kind of a troll. So when I'm doing a walkthrough with the sales, like a builder salesperson, or I'm walking it through a foreman or something, I always go, oh yeah, sci-fi's around the corner. Is it okay if he inspects his house with us? Just to kind of see how they respond. Almost everybody is always, oh, I have, this guy, he does this, he does that. There was one salesperson last weekend who told me, yeah, there was a story from my super that he came in and sci-fi came in and loosened the disposal and made a video about it, and then when the superintendent came right after, it was tightened, so he loosened it for his video and he tightened it up again, stuff like that. So overall, like, when you talk to other people, builders or even other realtors, people generally don't like when someone gets in the way of their money. And as a real estate agent, if there's an inspector who's making people scared of buying or getting in the way of it closing smoothly, they tend to not like those friction points. So that's not very reliable narrators to go asking the people that are affected by it. Now, what do I think about sci-fi and what's being done to the industry? Well, unfortunately, I think it was a necessary force. He seems like a really good inspector, but that doesn't take crap from anyone. Like, he is always commenting back on people or responding to people. If you say something dumb, he'll clip it and he'll use it in his video. So it was just the right kind of energy that was needed at the time. So 2023, 2024, when these builders were just running rampant, building really crappy, shitty houses, this was a very necessary force. Unfortunately, being sued by all these builders and having official complaints made against him by these builders, I'm sure is very stressful. I can't imagine the freaking just like intestine, stomach stress, just anxiety he gets having all these freaking lawsuits and crap. So I think of him as a sacrificial lamb. He is unfortunately putting his stress and his sanity on the line for us. But because of him, it has generally improved everything, in my opinion. With all that being said, is it as bad as they make it seem? Well, yes, but also no. First, let's talk about no. No, it's not that bad, because I have to give them some credit. Okay, over the last year, 2 years, sci-fi has become this like Batman in the new builder world, where the builders are aware that they might get an inspector like him, so they're gonna do a little better. But when I say do better, this is what I mean. When you're having a house built, a lot of people think like, let's say there's this dirt, and then from the point where the frame is up, and then all the stuff that happens and their house is being built, right? There's all these steps that happen before you get to step 10. And a lot of times people think that from 2 to 9 that the builder is doing it. But in reality, what they're doing is they're hiring subcontractors to go out there and do the foundation, to do the walls, do the framing, do the, the seal, what is those whiteboard particle called? The stucco, the paint, every single aspect of it from 2 to 9 is done by subcontractors. Okay, it's not done by the actual builder. So what the builder needs to do is they need to have like a super or someone who manages each one and checks off when one side is done. So they're managing, let's say 10 houses at a time. House 1 to 3 just got items 2 to 3. So they did their foundation, they did whatever. They need to go walk it and ensure that it was done properly. And if it wasn't done properly, they need to have someone go out there to make sure it's done right. Let me provide a little bit more context here, because I actually have a unique perspective here. I grew up in the construction business. And when I say in the construction business, I mean my dad, whenever I was in trouble, would make me go work for his company. So a builder will hire or contract a company to go and do a certain portion of the house. And let's say they hire ABC company to go and do the doors and trims or the framing, the painting, whatever you want to call it. So let's say ABC company has 12 crews that are really efficient. Well, they're really booked right now and all 12 crews are working and there's more houses to be done. So what do? Well, the subcontracted company will subcontract other entities to come and help them finish. A lot of times these aren't necessarily companies, they're just like small crews that run under an EIN or like a business license that just go and like help people. Like they're in between jobs or something and they have experience doing it, so they go and do it. A lot of times you don't have the people that were originally supposed to be doing it, people that are being brought in to help close projects that are supposedly managed by the subcontractor ABC, but then ABC is being managed by the superintendent. So there's a lot of levels here. And if the superintendent, let's say, walks it after it's done and there's things that aren't done, if the superintendent requests those repairs, they have to start a punch list and they have to go and chase after the original ABC company to send somebody to go fix it, which creates more headaches, creates more issues. Like now I have to worry about ABC sending out their people out here to fix this. I have to come and check in on it a lot. So a lot of times they'll just like push these errors or issues down the road until, well, hopefully the idea is it gets called out by the home buyer down the road. So you don't know who's doing the work for your house. You don't know if it was the original subcontract company or if it's additional subcontracted, subcontracted companies are coming in to help. And on top of that, you don't know if your superintendent, you can have a superintendent that was really on top of their game for like 3 months, but you don't know, maybe there was this 1 month where he was just letting a lot of things slide or didn't want to deal with the punch list. So they just like kind of just let it go by so they would move forward with the project. And now you're dealing with the mediocre product. And if you're asking how I know this is because, like I said, literally me at 12 years old was being sent out with these crews to freaking do baseboards. I feel bad for anybody who bought a house with my baseboard in it. It was probably like a dozen houses out there that had my shoddy craftsmanship. So you don't know if a 12-year-old did your baseboard. Now these timelines get mixed up where maybe there's a deadline they have to meet or something. So they'll push past certain steps so that way they can meet their deadlines. And unfortunately, if they like didn't do a good job checking off 2 and 3 or 4, when you're at step 9, that stuff may not be too visible. But, you know, once the house is closed down the road, you might start feeling the feelings of that. Like, you know, with the chicken wire that pops out of the stucco or, you know, stuff like that. When I say they're doing better, they're doing a better job supervising. And they're aware that Batman is just around the corner. So they don't want to be on that next sci-fi video. That being said, they went from like a D to their C+ level, right? They're not on A yet. They're not completely flawless and perfect. They're more like a B- C+ territory. So there's still improvement to be done, but they are doing a little better. The second reason why it's a no is we have to understand why people are considering even buying a new construction home. Let's talk about my favorite subject that probably people on this channel are just sick about talking, and that is affordability. Okay, if you are making $7,500 a month gross, approximately $6,200 net, in theory, you should be only paying about 25 to maybe 35 if you really want to stretch it of your net monthly income. Now, they're going to use your gross monthly income to qualify you. Gross is before taxes, net is after everything, just so you know. They're going to use your gross to qualify you. So they're going to say you qualify up to $3,300 a month, but your affordability requires you to be between $1,500 to maybe about $2,200. If you want to go buy a resale, that's going to be hard to do. If you're buying a $400,000 house with the 3.5% down, FHA, with a 7% interest rate, and including, you know, standard insurance, the taxes, and mortgage insurance, your monthly payment is approximately $3,056. So you have to be at $400,000, which is a very starter price range here in the Phoenix, Arizona area, to even, I mean, to be around 50%. You're not even quite there. You're right under 50%. So then people are like, okay, do I go buy like a cheaper house? Well, now they're buying something that's a fixer-upper that needs like a lot of like money because you're going to need to repair stuff, and you're maybe saving $200 or so. But not everybody has the ability to do that. Some people have kids; they don't want to move into rougher areas, so they're put in a spot where they're like, well, we just can't buy, right? Well, if they drive by those new build communities, they can potentially get 4% interest. What does that do for them? A lot of people just say, well, it's less interest, right? Well, no. What that did is they saved them $700 of affordability on their monthly payment. $700. Let's say they shave off, I don't know, $20,000 off the price. They live more on the further part of town. They're now at $2,200. And guess what? If you buy a resale around those new build areas, they're going to cost about the same price. But with that interest rate at 7, they're $3,000. That's $700 you're saving monthly just to go with the new construction house. How are builders able to do this? Well, let's not get it twisted, my friends. Builders are for-profit corporations. And at the end of the day, they're all about their board members and their shareholders. That's all they care about. So in order for them to continue this machine, they can't just build a house and have it sit on the market for like months. They need to get it sold now. And let's say houses are selling for like $400,000 in this area. What they could do is they could reduce the price to like $350 or $360 and get it sold right away. But then what happens is if they continue building houses, which they will, they now have to price this house based on the performance of this one. So what they're going to do is instead of reducing the price, they're going to apply a lot of the profit of the house, because that house is not taking $400,000 for them to build. Let's say it takes them $200K. I think that's completely exaggerated, but let's just go for that now. So they're making what, $200,000 per house? They're going to use some of that profit to buy a bunch of interest rates at the beginning of the quarter and offer these houses with a low interest rate. So that way they don't have to reduce their price and they can continue to move their inventory to keep everybody happy. So that is why they're able to provide you a cheaper rate. Last time I went to a D.R. Horton, they were offering a 3.99% interest rate. There's another local builder that was offering a 4.5% interest rate, but they were doing like where year 1 is like a 3.5 and then year 2 is like a 4.5. I've seen other ones that offer like, hey, year 1 is 1.9, year 2 is 2.9, year 3 is 3.9, year 4 is 4.99, right? They do all these creative ways to get the rate cheaper because they know at the end of the day, what you care about as a consumer is the monthly payment. And let's face it, like most of us use that as a motivator to buy a house. We're thinking about the monthly payment. We're not really thinking about the price we're buying at, or what neighborhood we're buying in. We're thinking about what that monthly payment's going to look like. And for a lot of us, $3,000 is just completely crazy. But $2,200, that's $700 to $800. I mean, geez Louise, that's like utilities. That's a Nintendo Switch 2 plus like accessories. It's still tempting to go for that because you're going to save. It's a decision that makes sense in a market that doesn't make sense. Now let's talk about why, yes, it is as bad as they say. It's as bad as they say because, unfortunately, you can't just kick back and like buy the house. You can't just like, all right, I signed the paperwork, I'm going to just chill back now and, yes. You're going to have to basically take on a part-time job for the next 30 days. And that part-time job is quality control manager for whatever the name of that builder's house is. You have to go in there and make sure they're doing a good job. You have to hire an inspector to go and inspect the house to verify they're doing a good job. But you don't want to get it done too early. You want to do it like right before their like walkthrough, like a week before at least. So that way they have time to do all these things before your first walkthrough. You're going to have your first walkthrough, which they're going to make it seem like a, hey, celebration, new homeowner orientation, or someone's, I think one of my builders right now, they called it a buyer celebration. What are we celebrating? It's the week before closing, and they're going to just be like get the chance to call out little errors and mistakes. So that's the tape walkthrough, right? You're going to have to make sure to do a really good job and spend 2 or 3 hours. And also not only that, but documenting it. Like, oh, I'm going to ask them to pair this. I'm going to take a picture and I'm going to make a note of it. Because guess what? That superintendent, like, they never take notes. They're just kind of like trusting their brain to do all the work. So they'll just write like the big stuff, but you want to make sure to do things right. Then on top of that, right, you're going to sign, and they want you to do the walkthrough after you sign sometimes. So you're going to have to try to get them to go walk it before you sign. So that way things get actually done right. And if they weren't done properly, then you have to call them and tell them go out there. Like I had a client once where like for the final walkthrough, one of the repairs, they made a massive hole right behind the bathroom. The repair, and then they shove something in to fix the one thing, but they made a mess somewhere else, and it was just a big old crap storm. So you have to take on the role of becoming the quality control manager. I'm sorry, I wish it wasn't that way. I wish you could just like trust this builder to do that, but they're just missing like 10 employees that all their only job is to take care of the consumer. They don't have them on staff, so you have to become your own advocate. The second thing is you're going to have to buy further away from town. Like most of the builders that are in town are not going to be as cheap. They're going to be a lot more expensive. And on top of that, their incentives might not be as good. If you want the better incentives, if you want the better prices, you're going to have to be hour and a half hour from your work. For a lot of people, hey, $800, $700, that makes sense to just drive further away. For some people that live out in the buoys, then perfect, then it makes sense for you. But for everyone else, it's just going to be a decision you have to live with. It sucks, I know, but you're going to be further away, and you're going to be in a developing city that might not have that Dutch Bros you're looking for, that might not have that freaking Black Rock you're looking for. These are coffee chains in Phoenix. I'm sure that they're everywhere. I know Buc-ee's is a big deal. I've never been to Buc-ee's, but we have Quick Trips down here, which unfortunately I'm no longer a Quick Trip boy. I pre-diabetic and a high blood pressure, so get those taquitos away from me. Kind of funny because I'm talking about coffee shops, but I think what I was trying to say here is yes, I'm sure there's going to be coffee shops and restaurants, but you're going to be missing out on culture. Like you can move into an established city, town, downtown area, something in the city, and there's just going to be like pre-established like neighborhood, culture, community. You're going to be missing that component. Now, that being said, you'll be buying in somewhere new where there's going to be culture that you get to create, right? So you'll be part of something new. It's up to you and the people that are buying in this neighborhood to create that. There's restaurants, there's coffee shops, there's all of that. It's just missing that, I think, key human element of like culture, or at least established community, established culture. And for a lot of people, that's important. Like they would rather be near like 5 minutes away from their in-laws. I know when our first kid, he's 10 now, but our first kid, it was really important for us to be 5-10 minutes away from my in-laws because they helped us with childcare and they wanted to see Nana and Tata every day, right? So last but not least, you're not going to make friends. Like you might have to fight the urge to be friends with your superintendent, to be friends with your salesperson. You have to have a friendly but I don't want to say combative. What's below combative? The whatever word below combative is, I'm sure my editor just pulled one up. You have to be a little bit on that when it comes to doing your walkthroughs and it comes to dealing with the builder, because they might mess up. They probably will mess up. So you need to be able to speak up for yourself and be like, I want this done. I want this done right. Can you please do this right for me? Like, I don't care if you think this is not a big deal. Like, oh, that's not a big deal. Yeah, it's a big deal to me. A lot of people have social anxiety and aren't okay with that. You just kind of have to step into that role as long as you're quality control manager. So now I'm going to give my final thoughts and also give you some tips if you are moving forward with a new build on what to do to make sure to lessen the suck. Because buying experience, whether you're buying resale or newer, is going to suck to some degree. Our job is to lessen the suck of that. Any percentage of something that was created, there's going to be a percentage that wasn't done properly. If you think that all the houses built in the last 5 years are the only houses that were built with deficiencies, you're out of your mind. I'm sure every house, every community that's been built over the last 200 to 300 years, even the last thousands of years, as long as there's been human civilization, like back in the day, if I was a stone, like freaking caveman, hopefully in this world, me as a caveman wasn't selling caves, because I hope I was doing something more productive to the society. But even cavemen that were selling caves, there was probably Ooga Booga built a few caves that had some issues, where there is this Ooga Booga caveman Fiuga that came and called them out for not building them right. If you go resell, if you go new construction, you're not going to avoid that. That's going to be an issue. And I'm talking about the ones with like extreme issues, like something was not fundamentally built right. But on top of that, every house that was built ever has been built not perfectly. There's been some error, some mistake in that. I've never seen a home inspection come back clean. So you're not going to get away from that. Whether you buy a resale or a new house, if you're going to go on this journey, you're going to have to prepare to do some inspections and be told something isn't right about that house. And if that's not something you're comfortable with, build your own house. But guess what? You're probably not going to build it perfectly either. So it's just something that you're going to have to be okay with. Now, if we're going down this road, new construction specifically, how do we avoid more sucking? This one's a no-brainer. Okay, so first and foremost, let's go. This is like when you go under contract. This is when you close, and this is 1 year after you close. Okay, so this, obviously I'm talking about houses that were already built. If your house, even if your house is being built from the ground up, there's eventually going to be a point 30 days before closing where most of the house is already done. Get a home inspection done. Jeez Louise, this is completely simple, but get a home inspection done by a home inspector that has a new build department, right? Like, you can tell the difference between home inspectors that are just like, yeah, I'll send my inspector to go inspect this new build, versus a home inspector that does new builds where they're checking the floor of every baseboard and they're bouncing a ball to make sure it was built right. Make sure that home inspection has a new build department. Do it as close as possible to that orientation walkthrough, but with enough time for them to do the repairs. So I like to usually do about a week, so like 7 days. So if this is that, so let's say, I don't know, what is it? Just throwing a random date. May 15th is your, that's already, we're already past May. I don't know why I said May 15th. Anyways, May 15th is going to be your orientation. Do the home inspection the week before that. So that way they have time to get the inspection report, and they have 7 days to order their crews to go out there. You don't want to go to the first orientation walkthrough and be like, oh yeah, we're still working on these things. Oh yeah, we're still getting people out here to fix. No, give them enough time to get it done. But we also don't want to do it too soon, because if we do it too soon, the house might not be ready yet. The house might still be being worked on. They might be doing, usually once you go under contract, it triggers the superintendent to go do a walkthrough of it anyway. So you want to do it as close as possible to that orientation. The second thing is, most builders offer a 12-month, what they call bumper to bumper warranty, which means they cover everything. But just keep in mind, after the 12 months, you are dealing with a warranty department of that builder that tends to be a little bit slower. So don't close without having any major items done, because once the major items are done, they have no incentive to go out there. They got their money. Everybody's been paid. There's going to be no incentive to get immediate help. So you're going to have a 12-month bumper to bumper. And what you want to do at least is get an inspection 11 months, maybe 10 months from your closing date. Have them inspect the house and send the entire freaking report to their warranty department. Say, I want all of this done. You want to schedule this when you close, so that way, and write it in your calendar, and don't forget. This is super important for you to do. If you do your 10 to 11 month inspection, they're going to just one last chance to catch anything major. And my last advice, these are for the people that are extremely nervous. Do an inspection like 5 to 7 days after you close. It's going to be an extra what, $400-$600, but if you do that, that inspector will be able to actually do more things that they can do here. They can walk the roof, they can open up the electric panel, they can walk in the attic, they can just do a lot more things that they can't. It's going to be a little bit redundant because most of the things have been called out already, but these are to the people that are extremely nervous. They're like, I'm super afraid of something bad happening. This will protect you of anything that was potentially missed during that first period. Not necessary every time, but if you have the extra cash and you have the extra, then go for that. Well, he certainly doesn't need it, but if you guys haven't checked out Sci-Fi Home Inspections, he has a bunch of great videos on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. Unfortunately, when my clients have called him in the past, he's always booked out like a year in advance. So, but still, it's good. Maybe if you want to hire him for like your 11-month inspection, you maybe have a chance to do that. Now, this is all in Phoenix, so keep that in mind. And of course, for everybody else, if you're going out shopping, make sure to do your due diligence. Go look at multiple builders, figure out what the incentives each one is offering, and don't just be wooed by one. If one has better incentives, usually it's like the bigger builders to have better incentives. It's not always the better option. Do your due diligence, walk through the houses, and see completed projects. Don't just go look at model houses, and then that'll give you a better idea of what to choose. So appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for your time. Talk to you soon. If you're looking for a realtor in the Phoenix, Arizona area, you can hire this cutie now. Just go to this website, or my phone number and my email, or my YouTube channel. Also, if you're looking for any of the home buying resources I used in today's video, check out the Home Buyer HQ. The link's in the description as well. You go here, you get a bunch of spreadsheets and a bunch of cool stuff to help you on your home buying journey.